Yes, today we have another version of Captain Willard homage from Saint Martin. Did we need another version? Well, I wasn't sure until I've got this watch in for review, and I can tell you this one had few surprises up its sleeve. Saint Martin didn't hold back when it comes to quality, which is not surprising. However, in some areas they even went further than usual, and in some areas not. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a deep breath and take it one step at a time, and hopefully by the end of this review you will see what I mean. Hello and welcome to the channel. If this is the second or third time you're watching my videos and you still not subscribe, this is probably universe is telling you something that you probably need to subscribe. Well, with this out of the way, let's get on with it. So yes, it is one crack of a watch, and no, it is not all perfect, and I will go over the details in this review. And also, I've got to thank Saint Martin and AliExpress for sending this watch to me for review. In return, I'll do my best to share with you a comprehensive review of this watch and of course point you to Saint Martin official store, and there will be a link in the description of this video. Also, there will be a discount information in the description of this video, which has a time limit, so don't wait for too long. Right. Price. So this particular version of this watch is available in dark blue and green colorways, both on bracelet and both priced at around $220 US. From time to time there are discount codes and coupons available that will help you to knock off $20 or more of the price of this watch, but even at that listed price I think it is a very competitive offering. So Saint Martin ships this watch in their new packaging, solid and robust box with horology theme, great for storage and transportation, also great as a present for watch nerds and geeks like myself. And of course, usual attributes, good quality tools to adjust the bracelet so you can do it yourself, and use a manual and the warranty card. Regular viewers of this channel will probably know that this is not my first Captain Willard homage review from Saint Martin. As a matter of fact, about a year ago I reviewed this bronze beauty, and yes, it is still in my collection, and yes, it still puts a smile on my face every time I take it out for rotation. So how does this stainless steel version compare? Well, first and foremost, of course, it has a bracelet option. Don't get me wrong, I like how this watch looks on the rubber strap, and some might argue that it actually looks best on the rubber strap, and I might agree, but I like bracelets, and this bracelet is pretty good, I must add. And we of course will examine it in more details later in this video. Dimensions. Well, size-wise it is very similar to the bronze version of this watch, with some minor reduction of the lug-to-lug distance to make it even better suitable for slimmer wrists. This watch is of course a homage to a famous Seiko 6105-8110, and Seiko are masters of making a big watch look normal on slim wrists, and this case shape is no exception. So we have a bezel diameter of 41 mm, case 9 to 3 is measured at 44 mm, and case height is 14 mm, and lug-to-lug distance is 47 mm. However, we of course interested in the distance between the edges of the protruding end links, and it is just over 51 mm. Combined with how the end links curl down allows this watch to sit comfortably on the wrist, even slimmer than 6.5 inches. I will do a few shots on a 6.25 inch wrist and on my 7-inch wrist a bit later in this video. We have 20 mm lugs, and the bracelet tapers down to about 16 mm at the clasp. On a fully supplied stainless steel bracelet, this watch will cover about 8.25 inch wrist or 21 cm in circumference, and on a fully supplied stainless steel bracelet this watch weighs 173 grams, and adjusted to my about 7-inch wrist it weighs 161 grams. Not too bulky, but definitely does have a good presence on the wrist, which I personally like. Dial. The execution is very good. It is hard to fold. Applied hour indices, well-framed date window, well-executed hands with subtle but well-defined facets that in combination with the mirror polish facets under the hour markers make the hands and the hour markers play in the light and give the dial nice and premium appearance. I like somewhat minimalistic applied hexagon logo and writing at the bottom of the dial. I think it is good that we are now observe a more consistent branding across San Martin models. I also like the satin sunburst effect on the dial that makes the dial even more interesting without looking cheap or tacky. And I think that the visual flow between the black-blue dial, blue rehaut with a minute chaptering and the blue ceramic bezel works really well. Of course, we have a little cap on the pinion, gives this set of hands a really well-finished look. And I didn't even get to my favorite part on the dial yet. Yes, you probably guessed it, it is the lume. This is possibly the brightest lume in my San Martin collection, and that is taking into account that all San Martin watches I've reviewed so far had a pretty good lume to start with. So, in short, this thing will glow big time and will outglow a $15,000 brand new Rolex. Okay, nothing wrong with a $15,000 brand new Rolex, but I hope you see my point. Bezel. We have 120 clicks unidirectional bezel with a lumed triangle at 12 o'clock. This is a ceramic insert bezel, so we have that additional scratch resistance of ceramic material. And as I already mentioned, the bezel blue color works very well with the blue rehaut and the dial. The grip on the bezel is at a slight angle, which somewhat increases the grip surface without a need to make the bezel higher. A very good attention to detail here from San Martin. The grip is good, the resistance and bezel action is very good as well. I must say that the bezel action is somewhat different to other San Martin watches. It is still nice and tactile with almost no backplay to speak of. However, there is a ever so slight side play. I might be splitting hairs here because the bezel action is way better than I've seen on some $800 Seikos, but still I thought it is worth mentioning. And here is how it sounds. Nice, tactile, high-pitch clicks. In terms of alignment, yes, the bezel on my watch aligns pretty much perfectly. Crystal. Now, this is another feature on this watch that deserves a special mention in my opinion. We have a nice, ever so slightly double dome sapphire crystal with a subtle beveling on the edges, with the crystal curvature producing a lovely subtle distortion, and that is all good. However, one thing that stood out for me was the anti-reflective coating. There is no blue or orangey tint, it is clear, and yes, it is quite effective and even does look like the crystal almost disappears at some viewing angles, not something we see very often on the watches in this price range. Moving on to the case, well, of course we have this classic Seiko design and a symmetric cushion case that makes these homages so popular. 316L stainless steel, nice circular brushing on top of the case and mirror polished flanks. Brilliant design, very substantial, and yet you don't need an 8-inch wrist to wear it. Here is this watch on a 6¼ wrist for reference how this watch would look on a slimmer wrist. We of course have a substantial screw-down crown signed with San Martin hexagon logo. It is easy to grip and a pleasure to operate, in part thanks to the Seiko NH35 movement that powers this watch. We have a straight brushing on the back of the case and a screw-on back case with Shark logo and some specs engraved on the perimeter. I like the Shark logo on the back. I think it works very well with the adventurous aesthetics of this dive watch. It is worth mentioning, of course, that we have 200 meters of water resistance, so it not only looks the part, but also is indeed a practical watch that could be used for some recreational diving. Movement. We have tried and tested Seiko NH35 movement here, and I'm glad San Martin stuck to this movement in this watch. No doubt it helps to keep the price still in the range of just over $200 US. making it a worthy competitor to other Captain Willard homages out there. Of course, this automatic mechanical Japanese movement is still one of the best in its price range, smooth to operate, robust and reliable. Beating at 21,600 vibrations per hour, it hacks, can be hand-wound, and it has a power reserve of 41 hours. Bracelet. Right, finally we get to talk about this bracelet. First, I think it is worth noting that even though this watch has a lovely cushion-shaped case, it is because of this somewhat complex shape. Designing the end links for this case is notoriously challenging. That's the reason why we see so many homages that only feature straps and not metal bracelets, so I'm glad that Sanmaten equipped this watch with a bracelet. We have well-angled protruding solid end links and very well-finished solid links. The links are held together by screws. The bracelet tolerances are quite tight as well, it feels quality. Also, the top of the links have nice satin brushing and it feels very smooth to touch. The links are mirror polished on the sides, giving this watch a bit of a premium look, and we of course get a well-machined, milled double pusher clasp that Sanmaten uses on most of their latest releases. It is a good quality clasp with prominent engraved logo and nice mirror polished beveling details, which really gives it a nice finished look. We also get 4 macro adjustments on this clasp, so no constraints if you want to get the best fit for your wrist. So, is this a perfect watch? Well, we all know there is no such thing, and here are those few things that I think could have made this really good watch even better. First, probably will come as no surprise, because I do mention this every time, or most of the times I review Sanmaten divers. It would be nice to have some kind of divers extension on this divers watch. I know the chances of this watch being used as a real diver are really slim, but it would be nice to finally see divers extension from Sanmaten. Another thing that I've noticed is somewhat sharp corners on the inside of the end links. It didn't give me any discomfort on the wrist, however, it is kind of strange and just doesn't go together with the overall quality of the rest of this watch and could have been easily avoided and fixed. Other than that, it is a great watch, and with a very competitive price tag, I should add. Solid bracelet, possibly one of the best air coatings in this price segment, and of course crazy lume. Definitely comes recommended. What are your thoughts? Please do let us know in the comments. And if you find this review helpful and you want to see more, of course, do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, take care, check out our other videos, and I will see you in the next one.